Hello, everybody. We will talk about performance evaluation. What is performance in education? How to evaluate performance and give the so yes, and performance assessment is also known as performance review, evaluation, performance examination, which will enhance the learning experiences and probably try to map the effectiveness of the program, the learning environment. Performance evaluation allows the student to exhibit their knowledge, their skills in various different ways, such as writing essays, such as creating portfolios, such as managing research. So what is an educational performance assessment? Performance assessment is dynamic method to evaluate the student's ability to apply knowledge skills in the real world situation. Concise overview, I'll just give it to you. Remember, again, I will repeat. Performance assessment is the ability to assess the student's applications of skills and knowledge in a real world scenario. The definitions: performance assessment measures the practical applications of the student in solving a real problem. Task involves student engage in hands-on tasks like writing tools, conducting experiments, or presenting projects. Evaluation criteria: educators measure task result against specific criteria to gauge proficiency thereby. What are the key characteristics of effective task? Real world scenario mirrors the authentic challenges that is happening as we are speaking, as it is right now. That is what real world scenario is all about. It is an authentic complex process. Assessment involves real world complexities. People might say, what is a real world complexities? Yes, well, let us understand. When two persons are interacting, when two firms are interacting, how do they interact? They have certain standards to go around it, but they are expected to follow the portfolios of behaviors. But do they? Probably not. The government intervene. The government sets in rules, regulations, thereby which needs to be abided to. Real world scenario, it might be feeling an impediment. The customers might be demanding altogether, might not be in the uh, straight face aligned with the company's demand. So yes, we are looking into a VUCA world: volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguous environment that comes around it is the complex process. Higher order thinking, it's these studies that you have made. Can you have an application ready for a real world scenario? The scenario which has not been taught to you as such, as it happens, how do you pick up the skills and apply it to yourself? Emphasis on critical thinking, emphasis on problem solving, transparent evaluation criteria. Very important criteria for effective task is clear guidelines for assessment. Why? Because if I have been assessed, I should understand how have I performed vis-a-vis my counterpart, my colleagues, my workmates, my classmates. Purpose and use is personalization. Teacher uses performance assessment to tailor courses to individual student need. Comprehensive assessment integrates a broader evaluation strategies and other educational assessment thereby. So educators uses performance examination. Definitely yes, because this will make a clear understanding about the educators of what they are doing, good, bad, ugly. What the students are doing, good, bad, ugly. How they are faring in the understanding of the subject that they are handling into it. So assessment of understanding is very important. Then comes the application of the knowledge. This assessment gauge how well student can apply the knowledge and a hands-on situation in a real-world situation. I have been taught, but I can only work in a laboratory condition. In a real-life situation, I will not be able to go around it. Example: let's say I am a medical student. I am working on the corpse. I am dissecting the body altogether. Probably I know what is my liver, where is my heart. But if there is a surgery that needs to be done on a real life world, a life patient, my hands are shaking, not very confident, blood oozing around, pressure's not been mapped around. Wrong thing. So that is what application of knowledge is all about it. Timing of the assessment, I am sure for every program at the beginning of the session and after the session, after the end of the programs. So you need to understand at the beginning of the program, the educators are would go for a performance examination to understand what is the student's present state of knowledge. present state of skills. How proficient are they? At the end of the sessions, they might be looking into the repeat whether they have made some improvement in their proficiencies of knowledge and skills and abilities. Lesson adjustment based on the adjustment assessment result. Educators can adjust lessons plan to better support student need and ensure student. So why do educators use performance examination? Progress monitoring. Performance evaluation help teachers monitor students' progress across various areas of curriculum. Continuous improvement. Performance examination contribute to ongoing performances by providing the right insights into teaching effectiveness as it happens with the learning outgo thereby. I'll give you the tips for the successful performance evaluation. First, promote self-evaluation. Ask the students to evaluate how well they are going at. What is the problem in their understanding? How proficient are they? Are they are able to grasp what has been delivered in the class? If they are able to grasp well and good, can they apply it or can they extend that knowledge? So they can be an advanced class for them. For the students who are not able to grasp the discourse in the class, they needs to be having a remedial sessions altogether. So you need to understand self-evaluation. Based on self-evaluation, set the goals. Engage student for a remedial session or an advanced session, and develop a rubric criteria so that everybody at the end of the programs will have more or less a proper understanding of the subject thereby. So benefits of performance evaluation, direct student observation. Teachers can use performance examination to assess areas of learning. Alignment. Instruction alignment is when the objectives, assessment, and content of learning experiences align. What is expected and how it is shaping up are on the right frame of mind. That is what instruction alignment is all about. It performance examination lead to strong alignment between instructions and assessment, which often enhances the student learning. Reliable feedback. Student often receives high quality feedback during performances review, because one of the primary purpose of performances examination is to provide the right feedback to the student so that they can improve on themselves, they can work on themselves, they can make an effort to upgrade themselves. The direct observation, the instructional alignment, and the reliable feedback helps in attaining the program objective. Active learning. Remember, performance review can empower students because this is a process which gives them an option to decide how learning may proceed. Did I say there might be a segment of students who are not only grasping, but they can very well go ahead with the courses a little bit, ahead with the knowledge altogether. And then there are a segment of section which are not able to grasp the subject where we need to have a remedial session. So you need to have those active learning session and how learning may be proceeded within the limitation established by the teacher. Emphasis on thinking skills, the cognitive abilities. Students use thinking skills such as analysis, synthesis, evaluation during performance examination. What are the different types of educational performance reviews? Standardized assessment, the assessment of the student's knowledge that results in a score or a grade. Summative, students complete summative assessment towards the end of the instructional unit to assess their learning by comparing it to the criteria mentioned or the standard established. Interim assessment is the multiple assessment that the educator use as criteria to identify the success of the lesson plan thereby. That is what we are looking forward to. So yes, we're talking about multiple assessment, the educators that use a criteria, the standardized assessment, the summative assessment, and the interim assessment. Remember, standardized assessment might be at the beginning, at the end of the program, summative assessment, essentially at the end of the program, how well and good, but there can be interim assessment during the program as how people are faring. So, how teachers create evaluation patterns? Now, it is very simple. You have a program and there has to be objective with the program. So please map the objectives to the core standards and your teaching plan, and things are sorted. The objectives is very important. Based upon it, map it to the standards of the course and the teaching plan thereof. Characteristics. Let me give you the characteristics of feedback. First and foremost thing, the most important is it should be educative in nature. The student should come to know where they are standing, what is their standing, what is their understanding. Next, it has to be given on timely fashion. When I say timely fashion, there might be scope where the student can improve himself or herself. You cannot give a feedback at the end of the session saying you have done very poor in this particular subject or particular program. That doesn't help the student. But if you can give it during the program, as in what is going wrong, if the students are not following it up, it is meant to be a timely in nature, sensitive to the individual needs of the student as the case might be. Suggestions for the effective and efficient grading. First and foremost thing, all about alternative. First, you need to use certain comments to teach rather than to justify the grade altogether, focusing on what you would like your students to address in future work. So yes, use your comments, use your feedback proactively. Remember, it should be laced with positive words and it should be aligned with the goals of the assignment. Next is plan. Plan for the opportunities for your students to get feedback or the ways of thinking, writing, or problem solving that they will need later. So they don't develop or repeat common errors. Avoid over commenting or picking apart students. Ask in your final comment, ask questions that will guide further inquiry by student. Think about alternatives to writing comments on every individual student work thereby. Feedback is a powerful influencer on learners' achievement, shaping understanding and guiding progress. When teachers actively seek, are open to understanding what learners know their misconception or engagements level, teaching and learning becomes synchronized and potent. Feedback to teachers make learner visible, make learner have a symbiotic relationship between both the teachers and the both the mentor and the mentee. Feedback is a key element in ongoing incremental process of improving the learning and assessment. Providing frequent and ongoing feedback is the only solution, or should I say strategic ways to enhance the learning environment, enhance the objectives of learning, align the essential uh, learning modalities. That is what feedback is. It is one and only powerful influencer for learners' achievement. Should be made on timely basis. It should be made on creating a symbiotic relationship. It should be incremental in nature. It should be an ongoing in nature. It should be as frequent as possible, perhaps. Feedback can come from different sources, not only from teachers, but from your counterpart. Not only from your counterpart, but from your colleagues, classmates, not only for colleagues and classmates, probably from people who are associated with you, but not related to the programs at all. Maybe your family, maybe your friends. So yes, it might come from practitioner, peers, self-assessment. Learner provides feedback to the practitioner. Effective feedback helps learners reflect on their understanding, their performance, enabling them to make adjustment and progress much more effectively. While formal written statement to parents occurs at least twice a year, once a semester, twice a year, or thrice in cases of it's a trimester program. More frequent feedback to parents about the child progress and strategies for improving proves effective in enhancing student achievement. Involves parents and families in learning environment. Process through regular feedback, fostering a collaborative environment, and positively impact the student achievement thereby. So, what is it that we are looking into it? The characteristic of effective feedback, it should improve learning. Characteristics of effective feedback, it should learn with intentions. Feedback it which for the betterment of the students. Feedback should have a clear focus on improvement strategies. Feedback encourages reflection. Error measures misunderstanding. Feedback is much, much, much more than a grade. Allow me to give you certain ideals of giving effective feedback. First, explain the learner what were you focusing upon and how will it help them becoming a better version of themselves. That is most important. Next, encourage the learner to ask questions. Don't subject them, don't dominate them. Make them ask questions, because then they will really understand what is clicking and what is not. Make a regular time for discussing feedback with learners on an individual and a small group basis. Advise learner that they will have an opportunity to ask questions about their assessment. Encourage them to note down their question as on where on basis as it is happening around here. Next, try. I will always be going about it. Try to give feedback as close, as frequent as it is happening, as it is happening. Be very specific. Be very explicit with your feedback of what is clicking and what is not, what is expected and what is not working for them. Establish a relation, establish a bond so that the student understand what has been discussed. The student is free with you to discuss with. Ask the student what they think, what they have, think of what they need to improve upon. Offer your advice, offer your expertise or the future steps of improvement, better way to grab the subject. Invite conversation by asking learners. Did I say build bond? And that is the only way forward to give productive feedback, proactive feedback, and improve experiences for learners' abilities altogether. With this, I come to an end of this video. Thank you for watching it.